Okay, we got a new book out by Regis Sprocket called Axiom, a collection of short stories, essays, and poems. Okay, first on the list of great stories, essays is The Tunnel. And this is about a father and son that are in the Swiss Alps, and they find this tunnel at the base of a hill, and they climb up it for about an hour, or crawl up it for about an hour, and then they reach a plateau into the Alps. And oh, my phone went out a bit. Has a really intriguing and surreal ending. And then there's another story, sort of an essay called The Tomb of the Mind, which is a pretty incredible analysis of what happens when you do too much research, too much brain work, too much intellectualism, too much thinking, and how you try to escape this sepulcher of intellectualism and the mind. You eventually get out of it. There's sort of a bubble that's released where you come upon some type of epiphany, and you proceed forth into the world with productive action. Then there's a poem about LA, Los Angeles, Southern California, called The Tiredness of the Southern California Dream, or The Tiredness of the California Dream, talking about what California is like, what it's like to live in LA, and going through the decades, and just the mechanism and machinery of living in the promised land of Southern California. It's a little bit cynical, but interesting in its universal themes. Then we've got another story. It's about Ukraine and an escape from Ukraine while the Russian missiles are coming down. This is based somewhat on Regis Sprocket's experience evacuating Ukraine before the invasion. And it starts in Odessa and ends in Lviv. It gives a full description of life in Kiev and Odessa and the protagonist's problems and also his joys and pleasures in both cities. And it seems like we're going to have a good ending, but you never know. So this is set in Ukraine, right during the point of invasion, and missiles are coming down. Pretty interesting. Further, we have a poem on, or a mini essay, or a mini observation on the Moody Blues song called Tuesday Afternoon. So if you're a Moody Blues fan, you might really be interested in this. As well as that, there is a story about what I would call invariably, now I have to check this, because we're talking about Regis Sprocket's poems, and they're often very surreal and very intellectually laden with such heaviness that you'd think you're reading The Glass-Bead Game by Hermann Hesse. And in this case, we have, a full evolution of thought and aesthetics. And what's fascinating is how the aesthetics are resolved. The aesthetics are resolved in rational thought. Rational thought is the precursor or the foundation towards rational action. So, well, the battery's almost gone down on this phone, but I got a little bit of time. Let's see, I'll plug in. Hopefully. Okay. So we've got another poem called Stagnation Cafe, which is about hanging out in cafes, meeting a woman or trying to pick up on a woman. And The Soul in the Coffee Shop, which is a really interesting little story about Southern California and on the verge of World War III. So it's set in a beach town, Redondo Beach, right before World War III, and what the middle-aged protagonist goes through in his lifestyle as a semi-retired person. In any case, this book, Axiom, by Regis Sprocket, I'll put a link below. It's currently on free promotion, and after that it'll be 99 cents for a while. But you can read it for free and download on Kindle. Thanks for listening.